Yo, hello, hi. Solar Loon here. I'm an independent game developer, and I'm the creator of Master Plan, as well as indie games and Tetra 3D, which is a 3D renderer, 3D game development tool. Yeah, so hi. It's been a couple days since the last stream. I had just timing issues Friday, unfortunately. Just things going on, but fortunately, I'm able to stream today. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me get some music going. It's probably fine. Bird51 says hi. Hello. Welcome to the stream. So last time I was working on this text, or rather this GUI system, and I've got it pretty good. I've got it pretty solid. There's a lot that I like about this revamped version that should make it both easier to use as well as more flexible. Is excellent. Just trying to fix some issues with text right now. Just gotta think a little bit. Let me see. Yeah, see, this is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be at the bottom, but a line spacing of 32, or the more the line spacing, the more it moves up. It shouldn't be doing that. Oh, maybe it's actually... This is 0, right? Yeah, okay. Let's see. Plus okay, that's correct. But that's not. And spacing 2. Bottom right. I'm like close. I think I'm. Let me see. Bottom right. Height. Why is the padding at the bottom? Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. This is okay. So I need to add in line index. Oh. I think that's it. Beautiful. Yeah, very cool. I think that's working. So we can say like, oh, give us a 16 pixel padding around the sides. The right side is off. Let's see. Padding right. So this is bottom right. Bottom right. Gee, right. There we go. Yeah. So I think this is right. I think this is working. So this is pretty cool. This is solid. Yeah, very nice, very nice. So yeah, this is what I wanted to do. I've been working on it a little bit, not a whole lot, but this is the end result, which is something that is a lot simpler, a lot more customizable and detailed and stuff like that. Something I like is that now the layout system works using a rectangle rather than an area. So you can take an area and split up its rectangle into smaller pieces, which I think is good, because that allows you to more easily position elements more definitively. So for example, if I wanted to, let's say I have this UI system, and we can make this a lot simpler so it's not so ugly. This is all that we're doing, is basically just setting up what the label is supposed to be doing, making one, and then setting up a frame, and that's about it. Well, before I even get there, something I like is this stretch property. So you can stretch images using a couple of different approaches. So you can fill it horizontally, fill it vertically, fit, or 9-patch, or just stretch regardless of aspect ratio. So for example, the default looks like this. So this is the square, the area, and so it's just drawing an image right there in the center, and so it's stretching to fit vertically, or actually it's just stretching to fit whatever is the smallest axis. So that's stretch mode fit. But if I say stretch mode fill horizontally, is going to fill horizontally, as you can see. And with what it is currently, stretch mode fill vertically is going to fill like that. And of course we have stretch mode stretch like that. But finally you have stretch mode 9-patch, in which case it basically just takes the sub image that you've provided and uses that for 9-patch. So you have a nice stretched image. So that's very cool, very nice, very easy, very smooth. And all you gotta do is just specify the image and the stretch mode, and that's it, and it'll draw correctly. So while I was saying it, we can set the padding to be something a little more simple. We'll say 8 pixels, and we'll anchor center, so the text is centered, and there's a little bit of extra room on the sides. And so this is, let's say, our GUI is this rectangle, this rectangle called root. But let's say that we wanted to do something a little more complicated, where we're like, well, maybe we want to split this up into 2 different regions. Maybe we want a region just for this text box, let's say on the left hand side, and then we want something on the right hand side for other UI elements. Well, what we can do is just say, we can take the rectangle of the area and then just split it and say, oh, we want 33% or 30% of it on the left side. So we say split the rectangle by 30% vertically, not horizontally. And so we have the left / top and the right / bottom. So we can say left or top and right or bottom. There we go. So we can say, okay, so this is going to be the left side. And then we can just pass that instead of the area rectangle for their layout. And that's it. So now it's all on the left side of our rectangle, the left 30%. And so now we can put stuff on the right side or the center or whatever. So this is very nice because, like, this should be this simple. This should be super duper uber dumb simple, because, for most games, you don't need a whole lot of complex stuff for UI. You just need something that works. Most games in Ebit Engine have fixed resolutions, I would say, probably. Most games are kind of pixel art games, so it makes sense to be like, okay, your game is SNES resolution or NES resolution, and just that's what the game, that's the size of the game. So if the UI never scales, then you can just make a UI system, we can make a UI framework that is made for pixel, per pixel accuracy. because like if your game is never going to scale in, you know, if your game is not expandable, right, then your UI can be very simple because you know how big everything is in pixels, much like how Ebitingen works with a fixed frame rate, where it's like, okay, how many ticks per second are you aiming for? That's the engine frame rate, so to speak, regardless of how fast your computer might be, your device might be. It's the same kind of concept with the resolution, and so it can be the same kind of concept with the UI, where it's just like, okay, well, we can make this pretty simple. I forgot that I'm streaming this at 1440p, dude. Or not 1440p, ultra wide. My bad. And people are like, why does it feel so stretched? Nobody said nothing. Okay. Let's fix that. I'll be back in a couple seconds. I don't think I can fix it without turning off the stream, but let's see. Yeah, let's try to fix it like this. Yeah, the camera, the screen is not working. Yeah, I think I have to restart it. I don't think it's grabbed my screen. Let's see. Yeah, that's not right. Oh, I can just do it like that. Cool. Okay. So I think we're chilling. Let's see. Yeah. Very cool. I'm impressed. I thought that it would have lost like the context or something after screen resolution change. Fantastic. All right, we're still rolling. Cool. So yeah, this is what I love about this system. Is just it's super duper easy to use. It's I feel like right in the middle between being easy to use and being customizable. So you can do things like, you know, have a window frame or a message frame or whatever, and have, you know, custom fonts with like, you know, outlines and shadows and colored text, but it's not like super duper complicated. It's, you know, the process is basically just everything runs through the UI functions. So button, flat color, image, label, and then custom draw if you have something that you want to draw a custom, you know, object that you want to draw. But yeah, I was thinking about maybe getting rid of areas, so no area, but area provides a way to bind essentially a layout to a hold up. Yeah, that actually won't work well. So areas provide a way to bind a layout to a drawable object. So for example, we're setting layout here, and then we're drawing these things, these UI images and stuff. But the problem, or this UI image and this UI label. But the issue with this approach is that if we change the layout at some other time, like this shouldn't really do anything, because we're specifying the layout, and then we're supposed to be drawing these elements, and then we're setting a different layout. So it should be that it draws this stuff on the left side. It's not going to. It's going to draw it on the right. Yeah. So this is the right 66%, as opposed to 70%, as opposed to the left 30%. So this is a bit of a problem. There's two problems here. One is well, I guess it's the same problem. There's one big problem, which is essentially that the layout system, like each area has one layout that's active, and it doesn't matter when you call things, only the last active layout takes effect. So you can't do something like have an area, split it up into 4 different sections, and do different draw things in different locations with those sections, with those layouts, because those layouts have their each UI element is forced to have that layout. Yeah, okay. So I think what I'm going to do, excuse me, is I'm going to get rid of the area and make the layout essentially the area, which is kind of the same thing. I started to do this, but then I was like, oh, well, I guess I don't actually have to do this. But no, I think I do have to do this. I think this is the right way to do it, more or less. So let's do that. So we're going to go to area. Or actually, we're already in area. So we'll go and I guess we'll just go to area. Because the only thing that we really need is to make it so that each layout has its... Hold up, let's do a couple things here. We can move this up here. Each layout probably would need its own ID. Let me think. Each layout probably needs its own ID. And it probably needs to maintain its own list of UI drawables. So when you go to draw something, you draw it using the layout. So this becomes layout, like left.UI image, right. Anything else. So that basically the area does not have one active layout at a time, but rather each layout can be active basically at any given time. Now the issue, but I guess this is kind of the second issue that I had, was the layout function, the laying out process happens at the end of the GUI loop. So it doesn't happen here. This is basically like calling and saying like, okay, this is the stuff we're gonna make, but it's not actually happening yet. So you can't like make a layout with a certain layout function, have it do stuff, and then change the layout function. That says to me that maybe I shouldn't make it possible for you to change the layout function. So yeah. So when you create a layout, you set the layout function. When you create a layout, so the function can change. The function can do other things. It can have multiple modes or whatever. It just can't have different. You can't set different functions because whether they change or not. Like you can't change it mid in the middle of your loop. So that means that this needs to be like that. Excuse me. I guess another way to think about this now that I think about it would be to maybe just combine layouts and areas because they kind of do the same thing. I'm going to copy some of the same functionality into the area. So maybe I should just make it so that the layout functions are present on the area and well, when you set a layout, yeah, no. Because you shouldn't be able to switch layouts. That means that you would have to create a new area, which is kind of the same thing. Let me see. We can get rid of parent and children. Scroll, offset, and rect aren't necessary right now. So you would create a new area. It would have a layout. Okay, I guess this is another way to think about it. This can work. It's just we got to think about it a little bit more in depth. So this is fine. We're gonna go up here. We don't need these, I think. I think we can. Okay. So let me think. To provide a layout. Really, we could just provide a layout function. Because the layout has a rectangle. A layout has a rectangle and a layout function. So it could be something like this. So we could pass a layout directly rather than a layout function. Because the idea is basically we want to avoid being able to set a layout for an area. So then we probably want you to be able to split an area. What happens if you define objects to draw in the area and then you split it? Well, I guess nothing happens. The split creates new areas. So you set a layout function, or I guess you pass a layout. Where does it get the rectangle? From the area. So it takes the area directly. Okay. I'm just thinking about how what does this look like and how does it look like this? Okay. So should probably pass the rectangle directly. So altering, well, we could pass just the area directly, couldn't we? Or is that not going to work for some reason? All right, maybe something like this. Something like this might be kinda there. Okay, so this is the way it is. Now, if I wanted to split it, I can say left equals a dot split. Grab that and move it over here. Oh, but we would need to set the layout, yeah. Well, I guess this is fine. Okay. So I'm thinking this might work. If you need to change its layout, it's mid. Layout. Special. Yeah, I mean, like this is kind of awkward no matter how you slice it. Yeah, so you can do it like that. You can split an area into multiple pieces and then just call, UI functions on the piece that matters. That feels a little better because it makes more sense that you're like, it's kind of feels cohesive as opposed to doing it like this. Where you set the layout and pass a rectangle. It's like, well, what link is there between? Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a little better because it's like you're explicitly setting the layout for the area. Like the size of the area is separate from the size of the area is inherent to the area, and the layout is just the positioning of the objects in there rather than the layout having something to do with other stuff. Anyway, hold on. Okay. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. These are kind of the same thing. I feel like this is a little better because the positioning and scale of the area is its own thing, right? Like the positioning and scale of the UI is separate from the layout of the elements in the UI. Like this approach, like you're setting the layout and you're making a new layout and then you're passing the rectangle. Whereas this approach, the area has a size that you're working with. I feel like that's slightly better. It kind of is interchangeable because if I were to just go with pure layouts, i.e. get rid of areas, they would kind of just become areas. So it's like, well, maybe just document it and that's fine. Okay. So anyway, I think this is pretty good. I think that's pretty good. So in this example, yeah, they've been split in half. Visible areas. Oh, because I call new. That's what makes it a new area. So you can't split it. I mean, I guess you can. I guess, yeah, no, that's fine. You can, yeah, you can do it like that. Okay, so yeah, that's the left one. That's the idea. So let's. I mean that's pretty good. I think that's not bad. That's not bad. It works pretty well. Pretty happy with that. Let me do something real quick. Oh, we don't have the screen, do we? Oh, we don't. Okay. Hold up. Let's do something like this. Oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. Doesn't really matter too much. What we want to do is maybe center this, but there's no easy way to center it. fine, I guess. I was thinking like I wanted some kind of like programmatic solution for this, but that's fine. I guess I could just make something like this. Yeah. Cool. That works better. Okay, so I can just say a dot align to screen buffer center. There we go. Cool. Very nice. Okay. So yeah. There we go. Background. There we go. Cool. Okay. Right. Cool. So let's do some basic basic stuff here. We'll just do some basic, like, if it's not set, give us some razzle dazzle. So if it's disabled, then we can just say it's just that minus like that. If it is highlight, it's this. Hit that. And then clicking is just yeah, that's fine. So, oh, let's. Yeah, very nice. So if if you don't, well, yeah, if you don't set the colors, then this is what it should. Oh, highlight color 0. Guess what I can do is disable the color. There we go. There we go. Click color. Oh, yeah. Cool. But now if I go here and I say it's disabled, yeah, it's disabled. Cool. Text should probably also be altered in the same way, so let's make sure that happens. Let's see, foreground. Yep. Let's see. Excuse me. Let's see. Okay, that's fine. Okay, out color scale out. This should work. Okay, well that works. Color scale. Okay, that makes it transparent. Why isn't it black though? RGBA. Oops. Well, this is unusual. I believe. Let's see. Why is this not working? Must be that, right? Yeah, draw image options. Scale. Okay. Let's see something. Unusual. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, why is this happening? I think I need to actually, because I'm using a shader to draw text, I think that's why. Like if I set the text style to be that, but with black. Yeah, now it shows up. Okay. So then what I'm gonna do, we're drawing the UI. Let's see, what do you text style? You try that? That might work. Let's see. That works, but that doesn't. Why doesn't that work? But you can see that the text getting brighter, but not when I click. Why not when I click? Or am I just crazy? I guess I'm just crazy. I guess it actually is working. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, just wanted to have some sensible defaults. All right. Well, that's pretty good. I'm happy with this. Cool. Okay. Pretty happy with that. I still have to do scrolling somehow. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that. Now that I think about it, I guess I could just do a scroll, use the scroll offset position and just feed that into the layout, right? When we go to draw. No Discord messages. Let's see. Let's see. Reset scrolling set right. Add. We don't need that anymore. With offset, I don't think we need that anymore. We'll draw. Okay. So what we're gonna try here, right. That's right. That's what I was gonna say. What we're gonna try here is just manually setting the scroll. This won't work perfectly, but I just want to see if it would work. Yeah, let me see if it would work. So when we go to draw, we pass the area and the item rectangle. Just thinking, hold on. Okay, so now what I wanted to try is something like this. So it would be... Okay, so it's scrolling. So now what we want to do is basically stop it when it would be impossible for it to continue scrolling, I guess. I guess an offset, that we could keep it the way it is. It's just, instead of calling it offset, we could just call it percentage. So this works, but the issue that I'm thinking of, well, okay. I'm just thinking. So we want something like this. But we also need to know how big everything could be before we call the layout function, no? Like when we do this, like when we get the rectangle, even if we bake in the scroll amount, ideally we would want to know like how big, like scrolling should be something that the UI handles. We shouldn't have to do that for custom layouts. So how do we know how big the drawable surface is? Like if we have an area that is 200 by 200 and we draw two 200 by 200 objects in a vertical list, so the total space is 200 by 400, how do we know that? How do we know that ahead of time? We don't know the shape of objects before we go to lay them out. So we have to go do a layout first, at least once, in order for us to know how big it is, in order for us to know how large the total rectangle we're drawing to is. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So it doesn't become a vertical list. Why doesn't it become a list? Because we're passing the rectangle normally. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. That's, all right. I'm on the right track. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Well, this... Okay, hold on. What's it, 500? Hmm. Horizontal first. I said horizontal first is false, right? Yeah, horizontal first is false. Oh. It should be horizontal first should be true. Yeah, okay. That was just my bad. Okay, so this is working. Alright, so scrolling would work. I would have to have a scroll bar. I would have to, like, make it, you know, make it work. But it is doable. Okay. We're going to call it there on this one. For this. But this does work. At the very least, this does work. It does do what I wanted it to do. And you can position things, you can size things, it all works correctly. Okay. So let's take a look at master plan. Let's see. That's right, we work on joints and stuff. And we were also working on being able to drag things. I'm hungry and I want to eat dinner. So I'll call it after this. What I'm going to do is I want to make it so that the icon, or I'm sorry, the shadows do not hover for cards that are being dragged, that are on top of cards being dragged. Should be doable. Alright, I think that should work. I think I shouldn't need to do this, but let's see. Looks a little weird. Let's see. That kind of works. Let's see. Visual dragging. Shadow. Display position. Okay, so the shadow isn't moving. It's the... Yeah. Okay. So the shadow just kind of silently disappears while you're dragging it. That kind of works because the alternative is... The alternative is this, which has a core problem of the shadows, like the cards lift. Like you're moving the map card and the other cards lift, which is a little weird looking. So we can just make it so that they don't draw. The shadows don't draw. Huh. I'm trying to think. I'm not sure. I don't figure out exactly how I want to do this. Do I want that or do I not want that? Yeah, that lifting is a little annoying. Okay. What I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm not sure why. Oh, yeah. It's a little weird for the shadows to disappear while dragging, but I don't think I can do it quite the way I want to, because if I don't, like, the problem with this is when you drag anything, I made it so that there's a lift effect. I can't not do that on the pinned cards, otherwise they would visibly be like out of position. I could do that just for the shadows, but they would move, right? I mean, that's an idea. What if the shadows shifted? What if the shadows shifted? What if the shadows shifted? Okay, interesting. That's an interesting problem. It only needs to do that for things. that it's not pinned to. Let's see. Is that, wait a second. When did that start doing that? Is it lock position? I don't think it's update stats. Okay. This is it. Okay, that might do it. Something moved, didn't it, over here? Oh, okay, maybe nothing was pinned. Okay, let's... Okay. Interesting. Cool. All right, that's pretty dang good. I'm pretty happy with that. We can call it there, I suppose, and we'll pick up Wednesday and do some more stuff. Maybe I'll do some music. I haven't done music on stream in like half a year. That might be fun. Anyway, it's been real. I've been SolarLoon. I'm doing everything myself. That's what makes it fun. I'm doing 3D stuff. I'm doing games. I'm doing I'm doing sleepy. No, I'm doing project planning stuff. I'm doing GUI stuff. I'm doing everything myself, making it from scratch, basically, almost entirely. Well, not. I'm using Stack Overflow here and there, but I'm doing a lot myself. So anyway, it's been real. It's yeah, I've enjoyed streaming all this time. So yeah, we'll pick it up Wednesday. Thank you very much for watching. I've been SolarLoon, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side next time. If you want to check out Master Plan, please do on itch.io, solarloon.itch.io/slash master plan rather, or on Steam. And Tetra3D is also available and visible on GitHub, github.com/solarloon/Tetra3D, a 3D renderer built in Golang by hand. It's like a CPU renderer kind of little. Kind of. It uses the GPU too, but it does some CPU stuff. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the flip side next time, and I'll see you later.